I just am doing kind of an impromptu live here. I'm gonna play with the rocks a little bit, do a little cabin, and so I'm gonna step out for a minute and share this out, and then I am just gonna fire up the cabin machine. I don't know what I'm cutting yet, but I'll find something here. I got plenty to cut. I just had some extra time and gonna do that. So shared it out to the circle, but I'm gonna flip the camera around here. So I had a bucket with started getting a bunch of wiggle tails in my bucket, and I didn't know what, I got to get rid of those wiggle tails. So I took a piece of, so this was a rock that I was cutting in the saw, and of course it's covered in oil. So toss it down in there and let it cover the top of that with oil, and they can't come up and get air. So seemed to work. So let me get that going. We'll turn on the light. I need to empty my. I got to empty the overflow water right quick. And that we don't want it running over while we're working. All right, looks like we're good. See what we can cut here. I mean, we ought to cut an opal, right? Ought to cut an opal, so here we go. Let's I think a Boulder opal will be good to cut. Let's see what we got here. Let's zoom in. This one's got a little color. I'm gonna move the camera just a little bit. This one's got a little color to it. Looks like maybe get a nice cab right there. Looks pretty good on the other side too. Maybe I'll start by flattening that side down. Let's see what other rocks we got here. So I got another boulder slab. For some reason on this, I marked it up. I think I did that. That might be a good place to cut and make something, and then you get a long one right there and get another one right there. That's an option. So this side seems to have green. It's got green on that half, and then we got blue and green on that half. Let's just split that right down the middle, and we'll work it in and find something to do with that. So yeah, I'm gonna try this. Zoom out. Yeah, you can see the saw there. Oh, I forgot I had all these over here. I'll look on and see who's in the cab in a minute. Get my mask on here. Okay. We're going to split it down the middle. That evens out. Check and see who's here. And hi, Harold. Cancel. There we go. Hey, Patty, Lori. Still got Harold, Patty, Lori, Harold. Okay. Thanks for joining today. I'm just kind of screwing around out here and got to go to a wedding in a little bit, so I want to get my rock fix in this morning. So I hope I didn't make you too sick there. Let's see, I'm going to start. Let me see if I can do something better about this. I think that's a little better. Right, a little loose there, all right. So for some reason, this one had a shape on it like this. Got some great color. I think I'm gonna take it down and just make it into a kite shape. Wished I would have drawn that out first, but that's okay. Let me start moving. If I don't hit this too often, it's kind of in my way, the camera and light, but if I don't hit it too often, I'll keep it there. If not, we'll do a little rearrange. That worked out pretty good there. The color I don't think runs real deep on this, so I definitely don't want to go very deep on it. I think what I'm going to do is to just stop on this one for now and heat up the dop wax and get this to where I can dop it. Still a little bit off, I just noticed that. There. I'm going to let this start heating up. We'll jump over to a different stone. So I got where the back side of where I split that, it's got that wonky looking kite shape, but I don't see a lot of color, but I'm going to grind down a little to see if any color pops out. Not really much color on that, if any. Oh yeah. Yeah, you can usually look at my fingernails and they're brown, and that's, I mean, Boulder Opal's really I guess that's my favorite. So I'm not really seeing it there. That'd make a nice cab. I'm just tossing it in a cup for another day. This right here looks pretty good. I'm going to take it down a little bit, probably then take it back over the saw. See, that color bar runs a little bit down in there. I'm gonna whack this thing right through there, and then grab a drink before I do that. Okay. Let's see if we can find a cool shape to make out of this. Looks like a jelly bean to me. I didn't know tourmaline did that. I've never cut tourmaline. So it turns your hands black, huh? So I'm kind of looking right now to see what the rock's gonna do. And let's see if we can make that into kind of a sharp triangle. That might be. I'm gonna start taking it down, see what we end up with. That's coming together. I'm liking that. Man, it's got some bright blue in it. Really bright blue. Got to grind the back down a little bit. Get this down to a workable size, or workable thickness anyhow. I think that'll make a pretty nice one. I'd love to be able to cut opal like Justin too. How you doing, Betty? So I think we're going to get a nice stone out of this. Got some really nice color on it. I'm liking that one. Oh yeah, and Saxon is in you know, he's got a mine now, so Dustin's gonna have first dibs on his own mine now. Had to grab a drink. It's almost 95 degrees here in the garage now, so warming up fast here in Texas. So, what else do we have here? That ended up in a wedge. I can see something coming out of that. You know, I'm kind of anxious to hit this one right here and see what's inside this one. I'm sure I'm going to have to split it, but I want to see what's on this outside here. Hey, I'm kind of liking that. If I don't grind it out, it's got a big pit right here I've got to try to get through. Or split it over here, and I'd really like to take an oval or something out of that. I mean, you can see it's got color on the back side to get, and you can get a nice oval out of that. I'll just watch it. So I move my wheels around a little bit. This is the 80 grit. I saw somewhere somebody said that, you know, since these were heavier wheels, the 80 and 220 metal wheels, that they probably ought to be closer to the bearings and not have all the weight out on the end. So I thought about that. I think it's a good idea. However, one of the other reasons I did this is I want to be able to switch out. Over here, I put my 280, my 600, and then I got my 80. So I got my 80 and 220. Now, sorry about all of that movement. I want to be able to switch out that 80 soft with the 600 steel wheel. And if you watch Black Opal Direct, or a lot of the Opal people that you see cutting from Australia, you see them where they're using a 220 wheel, and then they're using a 600 wheel, and then they go to the soft wheel starting with the 600. And a lot of them will hit it with 600, 1200, and then go to the cerium. I'm not sure how deep this pit runs, but we hadn't lost the color yet, so I'm still looking. And the color goes all the way through. In fact, this little kernel here goes all the way through. Hey, Cindy. I'm starting to rethink this a little bit. I mean, I got a little bit of meat. I can make about a 1/4 inch wide stone if this runs all the way through. Let me get my slide out here. So I tried to shine my light through this, and I'm not seeing light. I moved it down into the dark. I'm not seeing light come through it, so I'm not gonna take that risk. It's kind of coming out there. I think it's going to clean up. But it can surprise you. I just saw something that kind of concerns me about this. So I got this pit, and I see a pit going on the other side here, and I'm wondering if that runs all the way through. I'm going to get something and dig on it a little bit. So if this goes all the way through, I'm just grinding away and wasting opal. And it definitely does go through. I mean, I'm going in that far, and so this is coming up and hitting this other. Okay, let's do that again. I am going in this far, and so it is hitting this area right here. I got to rethink what strategy I want to take with this. I do have color on this side to where I could come in here and maybe get an oval or get some kind of shape out of there. Hey, Kyle. I'm going to try to cut that right along here and maybe right along here, because I can do something. I hate to lose this crystal right here, so I'm gonna cut right there. See. That's going to come across something like this. I'm using the wrong end, and then it's going to go like that. I don't like that. I just want to make sure I stay away from that crystal right there. Thank you, Cindy. Let me zoom out just a smidge. That'll help. Never mind, I'm just going to take it. I'm going to take that crystal with me, and maybe we can get a two-sided stone out of it. I just don't see being able to, get an oval here and including this and being able to avoid this, even though it travels around. We'll see. I'm going to just cut it right here. So this is really thick. I'm going to split it and keep the good side, the thickest side over here. I'm going to turn this a little bit. So I went out and modified this little deal here, and I cut it shorter. And I especially like the gutter for the little trim saw. We got something good to work with right here. Let's see if we can do something with that little crystal. Let me get a set back up over here. Okay. So we got something good to work with right here. And you can see that was correct, that that sand ran all the way through. And so if I was to come in here, let me get my aluminum pin here. So this part's a bust down here. So I'm going to mark that off. I don't see the color up here. But if we can come around like that, I think we can get a pretty decent little oval out of it. I'm gonna hit this on the trim saw to save a little grinding. I think we can take it down from there. Looks like they have a two-sided stone here. Got good color on both sides. That's not a bad start for an oval. Got some super nice color right here on the edge. But it's got good color on the other side too, so probably be a double-sided stone. We'll keep working at it. I'm going to swing the camera around to this other wheel. I really like the way this stone's looking. I want to get it on the 220 wheel. Really feel like there's a lot of potential for a two-sided stone here. I've cut about a 45-degree angle on it right now, and I'm going to go ahead and move into about a 30-degree roughly, and keep working on the dome on both sides on this one. I think I'm going to call that good on the 220 wheel. This does show a lot of promise here. For a two-sided cab. I see where I missed a couple of spots. I'm going to fire this back up. Give it a little bit more on the 220. Barely touching the wheel. I'm liking that, man. I'm going to move this over to where we can see the 600 wheel. So I'm going to skip the 280, I think. And at least I'm going to try to. I'm going to have to move this over a little bit. It was a great camera angle, but it was almost impossible to work with. Hey, Jeff. Yeah, you know, I just fired this up, and so just out here playing in the garage. What do you think about that little boulder right there? I got a nice piece to work with. I'll be right back. Gotta get some light. So the other day I got dehydrated out in this Texas heat, and so needed to get some water with electrolytes in it just to stay on top of it. And I'd like to encourage everybody to do that while it's hot outside, especially. Here we go on the 600. really taking it slow on this wheel because the colors, especially the tan color, is a lot softer than the darker colors, and you can undercut this Boulder pretty quickly if you're not careful. And sometimes you can undercut it even if you are careful. Not looking too shabby. think we're done with 600 here. Move the camera around for these last two wheels. Not really been able to watch the chat real well. But I appreciate your joining. Appreciate the thumbs up on the video. Appreciate those likes. Okay, so let's get this over, wrap it up with the, or wrap this one up with the 1200 and then the 3000. I went ahead and rounded the edge. I like the way this is looking. We'll grab a drink. Okay, let's get back on this. Gonna move over to the 3000. I'm gonna not use the cerium on this side wheel here. I'm gonna go straight to a 50,000 diamond paste on a felt wheel. Only reason I'm skipping this is there's a lot of getting your fingers close to the wheel, and this cerium on this side here, well, it will jerk your hand in, and you know, it'll cut you up, and eventually, if I keep doing that, I'm going to end up breaking a finger or something, and I don't want to do that. So, what I'll do is I'll put some of these down here. Well, that isn't in a very good place, is it? These will be for future. That hasn't got anything going in it. Y'all can enjoy looking at that. I'm not going to move the camera to the other side of the bench, but I'm going to go polish this on that on the 50,000. About halfway done. Because I skipped a step, it's taking a little longer on this day. We call that a rest. Let me turn off this light. Let's go out and look at it in the sun. We hadn't had sun out here for a while, but let's see here. You see how that's mainly ironstone in there, the hematite, you can certainly grind off that. You can certainly grind off that color, and it looks like I did a little bit on this. It's got some pretty colors, some nice blues, and some nice crystal green on it. And then I rounded the edge on it. It's a nice little two-sided stone. There's old puppy. That's my working buddy. Yep. Well, that's that on that. So anyhow, let's flip this around. Yeah, I'm happy with how that one came out. I got some other ones down here that are ready to. They're ready to dop up, and I prefer to work with the dop stick if I can, but on that one I just didn't. But anyhow, let's see. Scroll back up in the chat. Let's see here. Oh, okay. Hey, Cynthia. So what do I do with my finished calves? I have, right now they go into a little tray, and they're just piling up right now, but I just figured this could be something I could do in my retirement, and kind of building up some stock. I am starting to set up to where I can sell them in the future, and so maybe I'll do a live sale, and I need to do a live sale on some roughs, some slabs. I mean, that's what's been washed there on the slabs in this week. And then I got a little bit of rough. You can see that goes 2 levels deep at 3 high, and it goes 3 levels deep, I think, at 1 and 2 high. So I got a lot of tumbling rough. I got a lot of end cuts, and I got a few slabs. I think I got 6 5-gallon buckets of slabs. And these slabs over here. So all of these I'm needing to get put away. But I'm not going to say anything about that. And I'm not going to make it for anybody, but I made one of those. If you saw it and know what I'm talking about, it's a great design. And Jared did good. Hey, Jerry, what's up, bud? So I'm going to scroll back up in the chat and see if there was anything else. Hi, Ryan. Maybe I can turn this around instead of y'all looking at the mud there. Y'all can look at my ugly mug. Betty. Wow, Don, you are talented. If you're running 3 streams at one time. Hi, Allison. Cindy's doing too. Man. So are you talking about my hair? It's got the OCD going off. I know you're not, Don. I don't think you want to visit my barber. Let's see here. Oh, okay. I hope the gig goes well for you, Allison. So Kyle, I see a comment you made about a saw. Man, you can get you a tile saw and do all right with that. You can pick them up on Marketplace pretty cheap. Okay, I keep tapping this. I'm trying to get the text back up. There it is. I'm just buzzing back through the chat here. I think I got everybody. Yeah. I should have bought stock in Home Depot before I started buying all of those buckets of rough there, or buckets for rough. Yeah. Well, I got a little outside too. I'm working on getting it inside now, but that's the pet wood that's not in a bucket over here. All of these used to be full of rocks. Brazilian and some geodes, pet wood, and some mist. I'm getting it worked down, cleaned up, and in the garage, and this is what's in progress. So just like most everybody, I got more rocks than I need. But Jess said do a Nobby. So let me see what time it is. 1 o'clock. I can do a Nobby. Let me set this up here. Okay, hopefully that'll quit shaking. I need just a minute. I need to wet my towel down. Come on, you want a drink? Yeah, good stuff, huh? Okay. All right, so do a Nobby. Let's see what we can find for a Nobby to do. This piece of matrix that needs to be retreated after it's cabbed. Oh, which one of these do we try? So you tell me. That bright blue one? I got another bright blue one. And a little pea knobby bright blue one. Okay, I missed something. What's Ouch Betty? Oh, man. Okay, sorry about the shaking. I'm trying to get it where I can finish reading. Okay, turned out to be a little tiny fish hook. Oh, Betty, I had one of those pieces of obsidian get into my finger. I hit it with the hammer, and it, just like Jeff did the other day, it shot into my finger. There's Allison. So there's a blue right there. No preference. Okay. Oh, that's bad, Jerry. I didn't see anybody saying anything, so I'm taking this one. Okay, let me grab a drink right quick. Let's cut a Nobby. So, a lot of promise on that one. It's going to be a crystal. You can see the light coming through, shining through the potch. So the potch isn't very opaque. And you can see it's only in that one little area there. But the light shines right through the potch. I see some cracks in this one. Don't know if those are showing up. They might not run that deep. They may just be surface cracks. But there's only one way to find out, and that's to start grinding on it. Let me get on my mask. And by the way, these deals, these 3D print deals, I have had no trouble with them at all. I'm really satisfied with that. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, look back on my 3D print for lapidary videos. You'll see what I'm talking about. I'm not going to go into it here, but it is a good way to repair your respirator. Just working on taking the sand out of this. lot of cracks in this. Pretty much rolled all the sand out, but I need to dry it off and look at these cracks. Well, it's kind of hard to dry it off when you drop it back in the water. Okay, I'm gonna have to mark up some of the fractures on this thing and see what we can do. So there's a fracture that runs around like this. Let's see if I'm on screen, yeah. It runs like that, but it's horizontal to this top. That's an interesting one there. So there's one that's right there. There's one that's right there. And this one's banged up pretty good, but I want to try something, I think. And that is, it appears that it, as I said, this big one appears to be parallel to that plane. So I think if I cut right across there that I can get rid of that crack, maybe get a stone out of that piece. But what I need to do is I need to grind down on the sides a little bit. I need to see how well the color runs through this stone. before I go making a move of splitting that thing in half parallel to the pot. So let's have a look. What can you say? If they all cut perfect stones, then you'd be able to go buy an Opal gemstone for a few bucks down at the corner store. On the handles, let's see here if there's any suggestions here in the chat. Texas Opal Direct, there you go. Home Depot Opal. Okay. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to look at it with the light one more time, but I'm going to slice this opal down through this way. I'm almost sure. Let me kill that. So as I turn it, you can see all the fractures. Maybe another one now. All right. Yeah, so this fracture just runs like that. So I'm gonna come down here. Hope I can hit that razor thin line right there. Okay, I'm gonna slice it kind of like that. And hopefully the bottom half of the stone won't be too plagued with the fractures. We'll see. I think that was a good move. That top piece just crumbled. I'm going to take a look at it with the light here. So I see now why it crumbled is because we eliminated nearly all the cracks that it had in it. Still got a couple. I'm going to just take and grind down on those though. It gets pretty potchy down in there. Let me get that light out of the way so it doesn't screw up the focus. So we may have lost a lot of color. I'm going to flatten this back side and see if we can expose some more color here. Getting a little bit of color back. Let's see here. Some really strong cracks in here. The crack in this corner is gonna, it's no good. I mean, there's no way to save that corner. There's a long crack that runs along here. Let's see. I believe I can. That's a shallow crack. I think I can grind down and save that. So we're definitely going to lose that part. Maybe we can take it off and make a little stone out of it. The wheel and screen though. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this across right here. The stone itself has got a lot of challenges to it, and I'm keeping on trying to push through them because I don't know what I'm doing. And I'd appreciate any comments that, you know, if you see that I'm doing something wrong here, I'm wide open to constructive criticism on it for sure. I'm going to take this down. Maybe I think I'm going to take it straight across to try to get a stone here, and then bring this oval back and then grind down the crack that runs long. Is not very deep, so let's see. Not sure that there's anything there, but we are free of that crack that we had. And I'm going to try to grind this one out. almost fracture free here. We will be in just a minute. Okay, we got through it. We got rid of all the fractures. There's a couple of copine needles in there, and they may just end up being in there. But I mean, the color's not great, but I'm going to try to make it a high dome to where it will pop the color from an angle. We just have to see how that one works out. What's left here? This is pretty much fracture free. Very directional on the color. Getting down in the zone where you grind the tips off your fingers. See, it's kind of be careful. Trying to get it semi-flat to work with it. And still keep it at an angle where the color is showing, so almost there. Yeah, that wasn't good. good. Well, I think I've gotten a stone that doesn't have any fractures in it. We can cut a little oval out of. It's going to have good color. I may see a little fracture left in there. Okay. I think it's time to dop this up. These up. Let me get that out. Yeah. Okay. We'll call that good on that one. until I'm going to have to square up the back on this when I'm done, but I think that's a good starting point for us. Okay. So 129 minutes ago when I started this up, I started cutting some Boulder Opal. And I'm letting those cool, by the way. I'm not, I don't have ADHD that bad. I didn't say I didn't have it, but I just said I didn't have it that bad. So we started cutting some Boulder Opal, and I stuck these on the warmer. I've since have turned the warmer off. Hi, Chubbs. This right here was a gorgeous moss agate. It was a cut to a perfect 30 by 40 millimeter. And I dropped it when I was taking it out of the freezer to get it off the dop stick. And I lost, it had a real nice conchoidal chip come off of it. So I got this little fella here that's going to be nice to, it'll be a nice little triangle, freeform shape. And then this guy right here is some sort of purple something. I don't know what it is, but it also fractured. Hang on, I'm going to scroll back up to see what that, I saw a tip there from Don. Put all your dops in the press. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I usually will drop them in a cup, and I was in a hurry, and when I went to take them out, I'll set an alarm, a timer for 5 minutes, try to take them out in 3. And I got a phone call. I had the phone on my ear with one hand, taking them out with one hand, and there was only 2 of them, and I dropped one of them. So that's a great tip, though, Don, and that's how it ought to be done. So you should put those in a plastic tray or a cup or something where they won't just pop off, because you put them in the freezer to separate the dop wax from the stone, and when you pick them up, sometimes it separates from the stone. So if it's in a tray, it keeps it from falling to the tile floor and blowing up on you. So anyhow, let's I think we got these cooled off enough. I'm going to finish shaping them up. Oh man, I'm going to turn the fan on first. Still only 91 degrees in here, so in the garage. Let's see what we can do with these. Before we do that, let's make sure that we're in frame. I think we're good. That is a potchy little tooth there. But it may just be a thin layer, and it might come out at on this next wheel. I'm going to move over to the 600 wheel. I'm going to spin the camera a little bit. Actually, I'm not either. Let me go ahead and take care of this little fella here with the 220. Little flash showing. Barely pushing on that wheel. Actually, I'm not pushing. I just barely have the stone on it. And you can see that some of that potch disappeared. Right now I'm just grinding wax because I couldn't see the stone. Really exposed some blue on that. I'm going to do the same thing here again. I'm going to try to come down a little further. Looking around the edge, you can see there's some blue down there, but this is just a potch of stone. So. A little bit of blue popping through, losing a lot of weight. I think I'm going to have to be happy with what I can get out of this stone. So I'm going to move the camera. Don't lose your lunch here. So I'm coming off the 220. I'm gonna go straight to the 600. Actually, let me see here. Yeah, we'll just do the 600 and take it down slow. took that down kind of fast right there on the end. There was a spot of potch that runs all the way to the bottom. There's another one here and here. It's just kind of a potchy rock. Thought about flipping this thing over because I can see some good color in there. I'm going to grind it down to nothing. I'm going to find out if there's good color in there. I've got to change the plans on this. I ground this thing down flat on this side. I'm going to take the stone off here, and then I'm going to dop it on the other side. I did a good job dopping that one. Go throw that in the freezer. And I'm going to come back and dop from the other side and see if I can get this off. While that's working its magic in the freezer, we'll take this little one down. Only 600. I'm liking the way that's turning out. If you remember, this was the end that was cracked. And you know, I thought about just grinding it off and wasting it, but it looked like there was enough that I might could pull a little bit of a stone. And okay, it isn't the best stone in the world, but it does have some color. I'm trying to get it in frame here. We'll look at it. You'll see it more as we hit the other wheel. Kind of stuck here for a minute. I need to, let me go pull that other one out of the refrigerator. I'm going to swing this around, and I'm just going to come at this from the top, and I'm going to just see if I can pull out any color on this thing. Oh, dang it. Slid off the edge of the wheel. Okay, I'm not going to dop it right here where everybody can see. I'm just going to dop it over here where I got it set up. Alright, it's all dopped up. I'm going to let it cool. And we'll see if we can pull some color out of that. While we're letting it cool, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish up this little one. So I'm going to go to the 1200 wheel on it. As I mentioned, when I dop this one, I'm going to have to square the back up. Well, sorry about that. That was my glasses. But you can see some color starting to pop on this. Right off and then got some nice color. It's not as full as I'd like it, but for that being a little cracked up stone like it was, I mean, you got to be happy with that. Blue Funfetti, yep, Betty. I hadn't been watching the chat too much. This one's really taken some of my, it's taken a lot of concentration for me to screw this one up this bad. Maybe. I'm still not seeing it, and because that doesn't have a lot of promise, I'm just gonna hit it on the 600, see if it brings out any color, and if not, then we might have to call it a wrap on this stone here. It just is not, it is not showing much color, so I'm gonna hit it on the 600. See if any magic happens over here. Ooh, I see a little bit coming through. About lost the whole stone. It's got a little spot here and there on it. So there's 5 carats to a gram, and I don't know, we might have to measure this one in micro carats if I find any color in it. So on this, it just isn't happening. I'm going to take it off and throw it into tumble. And I'm going to go take and finish polishing this. And I think I'll hit it on the cerium here on the end, and then I'll step around the corner and do the 50,000 diamond paste. And I will be right back. Let this work its magic over here. So I'm going to move the camera one more time. Let's kill this light. So if you happen to skip a little bit, well, hi, Kelly. Welcome in. We're just having fun at the cabin wheels. So if you're coming in late, we started out with a stone about that big that was loaded with blue color. And it was loaded with fractures. And it took a couple of times of cutting it, and then found out it was loaded with potch. And so we got into a potch layer and lost a big stone on that. We did end up with this little one. Definitely a pointer. It's probably a 0.5 to 7 carat. And so sometimes it goes that way. You know, I said it earlier in the video. If they all worked out, you could buy these things for a couple of bucks a pop there at the corner store. And, you know, sometimes they don't work out. And if you saw this when I started, man, it looks so promising. Hey, that's the way it goes, man. And I had no idea that I was going to come up with this pretty one right here when I started cutting on it. I haven't polished it or anything, but you know, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. I kept pushing on that larger stone, hoping to get to some color, but you know, Kenny Rogers said it best. You got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. I should have folded them a whole lot sooner. But I've said in my other videos, I'm new with these black Opal and grinding these Nobbies. I'm sure I did something wrong. I would love to hear constructive criticism if you have it. And, you know, the polish we ended up with is definitely a great polish. I mean, it's a nice mirror polish there, but and we got some color in some vivid color in this little stone. But okay, you got a LOL there, Don. So yeah, that's a great point there that Jeff brought up, that this little stone will sell for more than what I paid for the rough stone for. So it won't be a slam dunk big winner, but it will definitely cover the cost of the rough. And if you weren't here earlier in the video, in the live stream, we cut this two-sided Boulder Opal. Got a lot of green and blue and purplish colors in it, a little teal. And, but I'm not gonna have time to finish that cab up. I am not gonna have time to finish that cab up there. So I'm gonna spin this around, just leave it on the stand, and you know, sometimes it is what it is. I didn't lose on it. That's good. Even if I did, I've gained on almost every other one. And so, let me see if I can straighten me up. Okay. So, yeah, so I gotta go inside, and I guess I'll take a shower before the wedding. But I got to go inside and get cleaned up for a wedding this evening. And I thank you all for joining. Appreciate the thumbs up that you've given. I hope you have a wonderful afternoon. And Jerry's going to be going live at 7:30 Central tonight. And everybody loves his singing. So that's Wisconsin Rock Stalker. Be sure and join Jerry. And that was definitely being sarcastic about the singing. But anyhow, Jerry will be live at 7:30 Central, Wisconsin Rock Stalker, and I don't know who else might be going live today. But there's several people put out videos recently, and so give them your support. And if you put something out, just make a note of it here in the chat, and that way others can, hey, Cheryl, you're a day late and dollar short if you just got here. We're just wrapping it up after this short 158-minute video, so live stream. So anyhow, hope you have just a wonderful afternoon, and you guys take care. We'll catch you at the next one.